Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Good.
Got some thumbs up.
We got some thumbs up. Excellent. You've had some canapes.
Oh, and now we're lit.
Gosh.
How exciting.
This is as professional as it's going to get for me. Welcome. And yeah, thank you so much for coming up, turning out for our Bethany supporter event this year. Hello to everyone also joining us online.
The camera is there, so hello.
Some of you might remember me from last year. My name is Annabelle. I work for Bethany. And this is Nathaniel.
Hello.
Just a random person that we met.
Yes, so we're going to be your guides throughout this evening, but before we get there, boring practical information. If you hear a fire alarm going off, we actually decided against having a drill this evening. So no fire drill is to be expected. So if you hear the alarm, just head out the doors you came in or the other double doors at the entrance to the church. Go around the corner and we'll just meet before the bridge over the canal. If you need the toilet stall over the course of the evening, just head out the doors at the back, turn right, go down the stairs, and the toilet's right in front of you. And men, you can kind of keep going right round to find the slightly more hidden toilets there.
There are signs as well. Great. Well, we have a fantastic evening lined up for you all. We've got video to show. We have an update from our very own Alasdair Bennett. We will also be introducing to you our newest annual report, which is only coming out, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. So you probably had a little sneak peek already. They're all on your tables. So do grab a little read, flick through in the break and whatnot. And then at the end, we also have some brilliant poetry coming from Creative Expressions and at the Bugle. So I hope you will enjoy all of the evening we have ahead.
Indeed, and as you just heard, we are going to kick off with our latest video. This tells the story of Bethany, essentially, of what we're doing at the moment throughout Scotland. And then we're going to hear an update from Alasdair right after that about all of the work of Bethany. So roll the video.
There are so many things that could eventually trigger someone to go into homelessness. So there's a lot of addiction, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of family breakdown, a lot of mental health problems.
I think addiction is everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Beverly Hills or Broomhouse, you know. We don't just read about it in the newspaper or whatever, it's happening in our front doors, on our doorstep, you know.
I think one of the big challenges for people is living in a community where all your old friends are there, all your drug dealers are living around the corner from you. It's very hard to get away from it. So if they've got places to be that are more positive, more encouraging, that are giving them the skills that they need to move on in their life, I think that goes a long way to making a big difference in someone's life.
You know, we are on the front line. People are at their worst here. They're at the worst point of crisis, the most needy. So we meet them where they're at, basically, and help to support them.
Everyone is capable of change, absolutely. What you often find is when you start working with someone, they have no belief in themselves and they're often stuck in the past, thinking that they will always be, you know, that person who just keeps making mistakes. And what we try and do is spend a lot of time going, no, like, you are like capable of change. There is potential in you.
Been here, I think about 7 years now, and up in Mingus Hill where we are today, we've got a partnership with the parish church and Crossreach, where we run a recovery cafe called Connect Cafe.
You get some people have not ate for 2 days. You know, can I get 2 toasties? Aye, you get soup, they'll get everything. They know they can come because we've got quite a lot of regulars, you know, that come every week. And they can catch up with other people, you know, like Ian and that. They can sort things out for them. I'm quite happy to do it, you know.
We wanted it to be a place where people could come and recover from any mental health challenges or addiction, and we do it through just supporting people who come to the cafe to actually eat at the cafe, taking time with them, getting to know them, their story.
Bethany Homes Glasgow is set up that you could literally just arrive with a bag of stuff and you don't need to worry about anything else. We provide all the furniture. When you arrive, it's almost set up like an Airbnb. Your bed is made for you, your towels are all laid out, there's shampoo, shower gel, and when they go into the kitchen, there's food there so that they can relax, because it is really overwhelming moving into their property for the first time. So we try and have them to a really good standard, and it's to show them we think that you're worth that. It's not enough to give someone their own home, because some people don't know how to manage their own home. They've never been shown, or maybe they've tried and they failed and they're scared to try it again. So we come along people and we help them to manage their own property, and that'll be different for everyone because everyone's got different needs, and yeah, show them that they can do this and they're allowed to stay in these flats for as long as they need. When they feel they're ready to move on, we'll support them into their next home. And it's incredible being able to see the transformation in them from when I first meet them, even just a month after they've moved in. They are just like different people because they start to actually believe in themselves.
Perfect. I have been involved at the Toast Club for over 10 years, 5 years as a volunteer and the rest as the employed staff. Community development worker is somebody that would go and see how they can develop a service. So we'll work with the clientele and see what suits them individually, uniquely, sort of support people where they're at. We've done like activities, we've done like walks, and we've done cookery, pottery, life skills. And then when there's a volunteer has an idea, we'll always try and promote that. So it's good for their self-esteem, it's good that you are listened, and that it's empowering people to find what they're good at, you know, and everybody's good at something.
The aim today is just to give you a taste of beekeeping. We have a hive here, which is like a baby hive, and what we're going to do today is make some frames.
We have recently got some beehives. It's one of our activities that we thought we could do with the clients. They were quite keen. It's really good for their mental health, well-being, and it's really could lead to employment. So we've just started learning ourselves, and when we were speaking to some of the clients, they were quite keen to be involved. I think giving the people a place, a home, and a belonging. I belong here. I can thrive here. I can learn here. It's a place where your identity is, and you know, and you can grow. You can grow there. Where there's a hope and a purpose.
I would clap my hands, but I don't want to frighten the bees.
So this is the Welcome Centre, which is a really precious place. We can bring people in, we can give them a bed, we can give them food, we can support them, and we can move them on to more permanent accommodation somewhere else, hopefully in the city. Guys, we'll just come through the front door here. So this is the dinner hall. Hello there, how you doing? There's some guys that arrive at our front door basically have the clothes in their back and don't really have anything else. You know, while they've stayed with us over a period of maybe 2 or 3 days, with the support and the provision that we've been able to, like a warm bed, food, clothes, and just being a listening ear sometimes, you can see them really raised up and lifted up.
Meatballs for two? 2 meatballs.
We can go up to the second floor. I can show you one of the rooms up there. Give you more about it.
Clothing.
We have about 60 odd rooms. We do. Put their card there. So this is pretty much what all the rooms look like the double bed, ensuite. You have your bathroom, your shower. I've brought people in before, and they've looked at their room and seen their bed, and just was like I've had people burst into tears, I kid you not, to see what they've got, and some of them have even said, I don't even deserve this, and I said, well, of course you do. You've come and you're using our service. Everybody deserves it. So homelessness is just the tip of the iceberg for these guys. There's a lot more going on in their lives.
So I'm on my way to cooking class at the Charter. We learn a lot of how to bake blueberry tarts or banana bread. We make soups, spaghetti bolognese. You know, we all choose which meal we want to cook.
All our groups are there to help them learn life skills, because that is something which, when you have been in prison or you've been in addiction, you have not been practicing those things. Open and then lifts it up, which is quite handy.
I'm a pro at this.
You are a pro at that. So this is what we do, is we do it together, and it does create a sense of community. So the tenants are so loving and encouraging with each other, and we always call ourselves a wee Bethany Homes family, because this is what we believe we are. We're a family. We come alongside each other, whether it's in the highs or the lows, and it's really beautiful to watch, and the way they celebrate each other is incredible.
My dreams as a wee girl was to grow up and play football, you know what I mean? I never wanted to grow up and be a drug addict, you know what I mean? And like things like that. But last year was a bit hard getting my life back together and that, and just getting out of prison and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But this year I think, my prospects are more like focused on like getting my life like back together, reaching out and seeing my daughter.
It would be lovely to have this cafe running 5 days a week, you know, and there are projects that have the capacity to do that. It would be lovely to be able to grow and be able to have this cafe open more regularly.
People need to know that there's places like this that people can come and get help. Oh, if I didn't have it, I would miss being around the people that I could talk to, I could share with, and I'm not judged and things like that, you know, and then I wouldn't have that structure. I would love to see something that was 24/7, you know. Recovery isn't just a momentary thing, it is a 24/7 thing, you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
So Bethany's kind of given me a real second chance, you know. It's like I can walk into this room and all of the baggage that I've got in my mind is like kind of left at that door, because you guys treat me with respect, and it doesn't matter what I've done in the past. It's a new beginning. You can fix like homelessness by giving people somewhere to live, but that's not going to fix them. It's just going to fix their immediate need to have a roof over their head, right? Bethany goes beyond that. It goes like, it's the support that comes along with it, so that you can have a future again, or you can have that self-worth that you might have lost from being homeless, because nobody wants to admit that they're homeless, so you go through quite a mental breakdown. So yeah, it's important to recognize that it's two things that they do. It's addressing the homelessness, but then it's also making sure that you don't go back to that stage again.
They're given that solid ground to start. So there's so many, I'm sure, who would love a bit, and I think it would be the first real significant step to turning their lives around, especially if they've been in complete despair and they don't think there's any way out.
It's nice to get encouragement from fellow residents and the staff. They see the growth more than what we do, obviously. It's nice to be, you're on the right path again. Me, I'd have got rid of me a long time ago, but they seen something in me that I didn't, and it's great. I'm so grateful. Without the direction, I think that's for banana cake ready. Oh, we have to cut and run.
There we go.
The way that we come alongside individuals, you know, one individual at a time, that is where you see the change being made. To just have time to listen to them, that is where you see phenomenal change being made.
We do genuinely care for these people, and we want to see them being able to sustain something in their life that they're going to it's going to help them move on.
Yeah, it's great when you see somebody turning a corner in their life. Yeah, that's what we're here to do, is to transform lives and support people to become the best they can be.
I feel I'm starting to live again.
When I look back, it was only like about 11 years ago. I was sleeping rough myself, so my life's kind of turned all the way around, and now being able to be here and to reach out to others, I think it's just phenomenal. It's really rewarding in a way where, well, I'm really trusted to do what I do here, so I love it. Totally do. 100%.
Really nice to see you all, and I hope you enjoyed watching that video of various aspects of our work across Scotland. Can I add my warmest welcome to you all, in addition to the hosts who have welcomed you, and also to thank the hosts and everyone who's been organising behind the scenes to make the evening what it is. My name is Alasdair, and I've got the privilege of being Chief Executive here at Bethany Christian Trust. This year marks our 40th year since beginning in Leith, Edinburgh in 1983. And this year we've had a number of events, and there's one more to come later in the year that I want to plug. So there's a Ceilidh on the 30th of November, not just one Ceilidh, but two. One in Edinburgh and one in Glasgow. So for those online as well, get yourself to your nearest Ceilidh on the 30th of November, St Andrew's Night, and we'll get more details out on social media and to supporters' emails. So we're looking forward to that. I would love to share a whistle-stop tour of some of the new things that have been going on across Bethany this last year and also going into the year to come. So with a nod to a couple of our guests tonight, I'm going to use the expression, what's fresh? So our guests, Martin and Ian, who are staff members in Bethany, are going to be interviewed after our break. And they've both got connections to the islands, as do I. And in Harris and Lewis, when you greet somebody, you would typically be asked, what's fresh? And essentially it means what's new, what's on the go, what's the latest? Now invariably the answer could be nothing much. However, in the last year in Bethany, there's been a whole load of new things and a whole load of fresh ideas, fresh innovations and fresh developments. And as we go forward into this coming year and the remainder of this year, there's more to come, we trust. But within it all, it's all due to the support that you and many others, those online and anyone watching on Catch Up, provides to Bethany through prayer, through giving, through volunteering, through being part of the team. And we couldn't do it unless we did it together. So all of what you're about to hear that we've accomplished has been accomplished together. And I just want to thank you as supporters, near and far across Scotland, who support the work, because we couldn't do it without you. Ultimately, all of our work, which we're going to hear about a bit later, is through the grace of God. It's through the grace of God. And so before I share with you what's fresh, I want to just read this verse from one of the Psalms. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory, because of your love and faithfulness. So all that we seek to do is in the name of Jesus and as a demonstration of the gospel and Christian love in action. So with that said, just share a few things that we've been up to. If I get this to go forward, it might not. Jason might need to. So a few things. This is going to be quite rapid, but don't want to take too much of your time. Oh, it has gone forward, sorry. We've started 10 new flats in Edinburgh called Move On Support, which is providing support to people moving out of temporary accommodation into their own place with support around independent living skills, employment and so on. In Glasgow, in this last year, in September last year, we opened our first Bethany shop. So this is in Duke Street in Glasgow. We've got one in Duke Street in Edinburgh, and we opened this shop in Duke Street, celebrating its first birthday this September. Alan, who is here, and Anne opened the shop back in September last year. I can't believe that's a year ago. And that's been a great success. Shelley, who leads the team there, along with her team and volunteers and staff, they're doing a fantastic job. And mentioning the shops, I would also like to, as we mark our 40th year, I want to just mention somebody who's here tonight who works in our retail, in charity retail, and it's her 10th year in Bethany Christian Trust, and that is Victoria. So please give Victoria a round of applause for working with Bethany for 10 years. Victoria works in Summerhall shop in Edinburgh. So we're really excited to see that shop launched in Glasgow. Moving back into a different part of the country, back to Edinburgh, the Welcome Centre, which is the care shelter as it was, but now operating in a hotel, restarts every year. And this last year, it opened again in October 22, operated right through till the beginning of May. And 1,167 people, men and women, were diverted out of a crisis of rough sleeping, supported with accommodation, with food, with a warm place to sleep, ensuite rooms. Kevin in the video there, he appears in quite a few videos and photos, and he's one of the team leaders there. And just an amazing project that is due to open again just in a few weeks' time at the beginning of October. Now moving on to the next location in Dundee. We had a heart to develop the work there, and we recruited and appointed a lady called Heather, who now operates a program called Bridge to Freedom in the community in partnership with 3 churches in Dundee. And that program is taking our rehabilitation work and delivering it in community. So what it looks like is a group gathering in a safe place, having some tea and some coffee, having a bite to eat, and then sharing with each other about the struggles that they're going through, some of the challenges that they're facing, and looking at some material that is geared towards supporting those individuals with finding freedom from addiction, from addictive lifestyle, from addictive thoughts. So it's been really exciting to see these things develop and go forward. We also, as part of our homelessness strategy, look to provide accommodation for people, always with support. So this last year, we have also purchased 2 flats in Fife, in the Methil area, in Leavenmouth in Fife. And this is to support individuals, again, moving out of homelessness with accommodation, with support. And that project is just actually launching currently. So moving forward, we're now moving on to one of the projects that you're going to hear about a little later on this evening. And Bethany UpStream Schools has been operating for a number of years in the West. Sorry, this thing isn't necessarily working too well. Bethany UpStream Schools is a counselling and therapeutic support project that works to support people in schools. And earlier this year, we received pledged funding to pioneer Bethany UpStream communities, which Martin will be sharing on a little bit more. And we've got funding pledged for 3 years, and it's offering counselling with support to people in community across Glasgow. So we're really excited to see that pioneered already and flourishing. The other project that we're looking to develop going into this year is we have care vans in Glasgow and in Edinburgh and in Perth, and we're looking, God willing, to commence something similar in Aberdeen or in Aberdeen City or Shire. And speaking to some churches up there about what that could look like. If you're watching online, you know where we are. We have graciously received some funding to pioneer that project, and what it will look like we will shape with the local church and with our partners there. Coming back down into Fife again, Housing First is a programme that is geared towards supporting people in their own home with wraparound care, wraparound support. So the idea being that no matter what happens, the person gets to keep their home and the support is built around them. So we're part of a group of providers in Fife that are delivering this new Housing First programme there, and we're excited to be a part of that. And then finally, in this financial year up to March 24, again, God willing, it's on our hearts and our desire to develop Grace House. So we have a project called Ann Hope House in Edinburgh, and it's a therapeutic supported accommodation environment for women who are coming out of homelessness, maybe suffering from trauma, maybe fleeing domestic abuse, maybe struggling to overcome addiction, ultimately looking for healing and a place of safety. And we would like to do something similar in the west of Scotland, and the name Grace House would be put to that once launched. So please join us in partnering around that project, praying for that project. We have the funding to unlock that project agreed earlier this year, and next steps will be to look to purchase somewhere that's going to be suitable for that, most likely in the Glasgow area. So we're really excited about all these developments. All of them are by virtue of your partnership and the giving, whether it's in prayer, whether it's in volunteering, whether it's through financial giving. And we want to hear more about the annual report that you've just you have on your tables. And the way we've captioned this year is the Bethany story. And it's a story of 40 years of love and service. A story about people, about hope, and about God's grace. And you'll see there 11 locations on that map of Scotland. And that started with one location in Leith, Edinburgh. And through the grace of God, it's grown to spread across all these locations. And all that we do, we seek to honour the Lord in. So thank you for listening. I'm going to hand back to our hosts to take forward the next section. Thank you very much.
Alasdair, and yeah, I just want to echo the sentiments as we cannot do this without you. So I think it's very humbling and brilliant to see all these amazing new services and projects around Scotland. Now, before the break, I am going to introduce you to our individual giving team lead, Tiffany. And she is going to tell you a little bit more about this year's annual report, which, as I say, is on your tables. So, Tiffany, if you'd like to come on up and introduce yourself and the report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, yes, hi, I'm Tiffany. I am on the individual giving team within the fundraising team, and I love what Alasdair said. It's an absolute privilege to work for Bethany. I started a little over a year ago, I think, or like just a year, and yeah, I love it. It's an amazing place to be. So, and I just wanted to thank you all. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Not only is this a supporter celebration, but it's also the official launch of our annual report. So yeah, you've heard a lot about it already. Many of you might have received it in the post or through an email, but today we'd love you to pick up a copy, have a read through it, take one home, and if you would like to share it, pass along to others, we welcome that as well. So yeah, this year is a slightly different annual report as it's our 40th anniversary. We really wanted to take the opportunity to look back at Bethany Christian Trust's journey through stories and photos from throughout our history and just really show the impact that Bethany has had over the past 40 years. There's a great interview in it from our founders, Alan and Anne Barry. We're so thankful to be able to have sat down with them and chat about, they're able to reflect on the beginnings and just how through faith and listening to God really has gotten to us where we are today. A couple of our stories involve people who've used our services and then have gone on to work or volunteer for us, which is incredible, like so encouraging. One story is from John, whose journey with Bethany started in 1987 when he came to the Bethany Christian Center. He shares his story from there, and just this year he retired after 30 years of service working for Bethany Christian Trust, which is just amazing. So yeah, we don't take any of these stories or what has been accomplished lightly. we're here to show Christian love in action, to help give people hope. And as Alice was saying, thankfully, we've been able to do that for 40 years by the grace of God. So please have a read through if you haven't yet. There are more stories like this, and also statistics from what we've been able to accomplish this past year, thanks to the ongoing support from all of you. So take them knowing that you've played a part in making this happen, and thank you for being a part of our journey. So we'll now have a 15-minute break. There's going to be some annual report photos playing in the background, so take some time to read through some of the copies on your table. We're going to be at the fundraising table as well if you want to have a chat with us, or grab some fundraiser around if you have any questions or would like to know more. That's great. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay. Thank you.
Because now I'm going to ask you to do this again.
Thanks for introducing me.
I know. Did someone say host? It was so good. No, I was honestly breaking it because I was like, what if she does like tip it up? But then like there's just I know. And then there was just there was a new Tiffany, a bold Tiffany, and I was like, whoa. And now you can relax. Yeah, Alan was loving. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got a couple more minutes to grab a drink, go to the toilet. We'll be kicking off again in 2 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody. We are just about to begin the second half of our supporters celebration. So please do grab your seats once more. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, I love this segment. It feels very chat-showy and feels very glamorous. I'm very excited to be sitting here on the stage with two people who, of course, work for Bethany Christian Trust. We have Martin and we have Ian, all the way from Stornoway, which I think is pretty cool. So we're going to have a little chat, very informal chat. First of all, if you would both like to just introduce yourselves and the roles that you do at Bethany.
Hello, I'm Martin Fraser, and I'm the Families and Counselling Manager for Bethany UpStream.
Hi there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm a Recovery and Development Coordinator in Stornoway and part of the Shared Project.
Thank you so much. So, Martin, let's start with you. Do you want to tell us a bit about what's new in your team?
Sure. Yeah, so as Alasdair mentioned, Bethany UpStream has got a new project, but yeah, just a quick background would be that we are a families and counselling project within Bethany. So providing family work, and we were almost exclusively schools-based. So providing family work for schools in Glasgow in the West. So a family worker would be a kind of bridge point between the community and the school. So helping families, who are struggling with various issues, maybe they're struggling to get their children to school, or when they're in school, a whole host of things come up. And so our family worker is there just to be able to kind of shepherd these families into the right supports, to provide support for themselves, and yeah, just to, I suppose, be there. And well, yeah, I could go on and on about the family work, but yeah, lots of different things that they do. And then we also have the counselling work, and again, schools-based. So the pastoral care teachers refer young people who are struggling, who are in distress, who have experienced trauma or bereavements, all these different conditions. They refer young people to us and to our team, and we would see them for counselling. So yeah, we worked with around 110 families last year, over 220 young people, and had over 1,300 therapeutic sessions. So a lot of work going on with families and with young people in Glasgow and the West. But we were finding that we were being approached within the community, so where our offices were based in the East End of Glasgow, with young people and families coming to us asking for help, again with mental health struggles, and we just weren't equipped to help them, and it was really difficult for us to turn young people away. And so things were changing a little bit with schools too, and we decided to try and look into it. So yeah. What's that, sorry? Yeah, we've got the Bethany van in the East End of Glasgow as well. That's right. Yeah, and here. That's right. Yeah. So that's also really great work. So anyway, we decided that we'd explore this, and we would just pray and kind of do a real consultation in the community, and we were really grateful, as Alasdair mentioned there, to receive some funding, and so now we have Bethany UpStream communities, and that means that we no longer have to turn away families or young people that come to us looking for help, and that's just really new. It's just started within the last few months, and we're really excited about that.
It's huge, thanks. And out of interest, what do you find, just on a day-to-day basis, what are the biggest challenges that you and your team currently face?
So I think, thinking particularly about counselling, one of the struggles there is that you are almost limited to the room and the space. So a young person will come in and, they're experiencing real difficulties at home, or they're, a bit older and they're struggling with accommodation, or, they have a really difficult relationship going on. And while you do work and with a lot of things within the room, you can't actually go out and help. And so that can be quite a difficulty for us, but thankfully we've been able to get a link worker, and that means that person can meet with the young person and then connect them into other services as well. But that does remain an issue. We also are seeing a lot of young people who are very anxious. Some young people have barely left their houses since COVID. Some young people are still, like I was saying, processing really horrific traumas from their childhood. Other young people are feeling really low, whether it's from bullying or just really, severe self-esteem issues. These are all things that young people come to us with. We're seeing a lot of it. I had just today, we had 4 new referrals. We had multiple agencies getting in touch. Yesterday we had 3 referrals. It's just, there's a lot of young people struggling at the moment. But again, we're just really glad that we've been able to increase our capacity. I think we will need to increase our capacity again. But yeah, that's certainly some of the challenges that we're coming up against.
Thank you for sharing. So Ian, Stornoway, perhaps supporters might not necessarily think that there's need up in Stornoway. Could you just tell us a bit more about what you're doing up there and why there is indeed need up north?
Well, I work in the Shed Project, which is a youth and community. So it's linked in with the Martin's Memorial Church of Scotland. So my role is to mainly work in the Well, which is a drop-in group for those in recovery of drinking, drug and mental health. They come in, drop in Monday, Wednesday and a Friday evening. And also there's an ARC group just specifically for females on a Friday, so kind of oversee that as well. So kind of drop-in support. So I come along, spend time with them, just generally drinking coffees, seeing how their day's been, or if there's any help. I also do sort of one-on-one work using the Outcome Star tool, just to see what areas of their life they're wanting specific support with. So I draw alongside them, just to get them and help them in their recovery journey.
Great. And similar to what I asked Martin, do you find that there's a day-to-day challenge in there for you, especially being so far up in the north, and it's very new as well?
Yeah, I've been just over a year and a half now in my work. It's kind of a very hidden problem, drinking drugs. It's not very commonly seen. Most people are sort of not scared or frightened because everybody up there kind of knows each other, so it's very hard for people to engage in the service. So that's why we kind of, it is a drop-in service. It's not part of Martin's, it's kind of beside Martin's, so it takes that aspect of people who not normally come to church and want just a safe space to come to chat to people who are in the same situation and have various experiences. So the challenging thing would be people actually admitting that they have the problem or want to make the first step to come into the service. So that's pretty challenging because, as I say, it's, oh, why are they going in there? What's happening there? And so that's probably the most challenging aspect of it.
Yeah, and out of pure interest, is there any stories for the both of you that just comes to mind where you felt this is why I do it and there's hope? I'd love to hear some of them. No pressure.
I mean, probably the first thing, I could think of a few. The first thing that comes to mind is our hopscotch holidays. And so that's where we take children away for a break, basically. And there's quite strict criteria for which children come along. So it has to be children who are either young carers, so they're looking after a parent or guardian or an adult within their home. And it's to give them a break, or they're experiencing some kind of social deprivation. So we take them all up to not far from Fort William, and they go to the beach and they go climbing. They drink hot chocolate. There's a great purpose-built playground for them, and that's just pure joy to see them do that. I was able to visit the team this week, and one of the workers just said, like, is this anyone's first time at the beach? And about 3 or 4 hands went up. They'd been to, this is the first time, and they were just absolutely taken with it. The crabs and the building tunnels and all these things in the sand. So that was just pure joy. We've also seen really remarkable things happening with counselling as well. We've seen young people really just being healed by the space, and we believe in the power of prayer, and people are praying not in the room, but we're all praying for the young people that come, and we've seen people really transformed. I remember hearing a social worker, I heard from someone else in the meeting, a young girl who'd come and met with one of our counsellors on the team, and just for it was about 10 sessions, something like that, and they had one of these joint meetings, and the social worker had said, I've never seen a transformation in a child like this before. And it was interesting because when we spoke to Zara, we were saying, what did you do? And she said, I don't know. There wasn't anything particular. I sat, I held the space, I listened. And so that we really believe in just the transformation that can happen within that space when you just love a young person, you listen to them, and you use the skills that the counsellors are trained with. The final one I'd mention as well, and it's interesting, use hope, because it is something that can happen within counselling, is that you can be drawn into the hopelessness of a situation, and that's part of my role as the manager, is to encourage our team, because we are the hope holders in those situations. There's one story that sticks out. Another girl came, again, crippled with anxiety, self-harming, suicidal ideation. She met with one of our counsellors. And again, we're a service, it's quite rare, but we're an open-ended service. We don't limit the number of sessions. And so this girl was seen right from 4th year all the way into her 1st year of university. Such was her improvement. And when we went to get some feedback, she wrote it down for us, and she literally said, I would not be here. I would have ended my life without this support. So there's lots of difficulties, there's lots of challenges. There's young people who come for 1 or 2 sessions and we don't hear from them again. There's young people in their 20 and 22nd session, and maybe there's not much movement, but there's always hope. We do believe that. Yeah.
And same for you, Ian.
Just that as a safe space for them to come along and just to open up and spend time with other people in the same situation. One story of encouragement that probably off the top of my head would be we've got a close link with a rehab centre in the outskirts of Stornoway who's coming along. So started meeting with them, asking them. They were due to come out of the recovery centre soon, so I said, well, how about when you come out, I'll start doing one-on-one, just as a follow-on process. So we start doing that when they come out. So built up a relationship with them. They have also recently become members and confessed faith to Jesus in Martin's. And out of that, they felt that they would want to volunteer. So during various conversations, kind of spent time with them, well, how about coming on, volunteering, helping out at the well, showing the process and spend time with the guys and giving them confidence. So he's doing that now. We're also hoping to start a recovery cafe in the next couple of weeks or so. And he's also going to be doing that. And it's for the whole community, so they will be serving the whole community. So he's really looking forward to that. And it's been really encouraging to see the journey and been able to help him with that. So that's probably a huge part of it. Encouragement for
That's
that.
great. No, it's really amazing to hear, and I mean, I'm sure you all feel it in the audience, but just sitting here, I can tell how passionate you both are and how much you really care about the people you work with. And again, that's just what Bethany is, and it's really lovely to see it in person on the stage tonight and really hear from it, like face to face. So I'd love to give a round of applause to our two guests. Thank you so much.
Mike's coming on. Every time I see pictures of Lewis and Harris and the golden beaches and the crystal clear waters, and we started up this service in Stornoway recently, I keep trying to persuade Alasdair. I say, Alasdair, send me on a fundraising trip up there. I'll raise so many funds on the beach. Yet to happen. Now, as one of our final contributions of the evening, we are going to hear from a selection of poets. But I'm not going to tell you about them. I'm going to hand over to our Creative Expressions Coordinator, Sam. He'll tell you a bit about it, and he's going to be joined on stage by all of his poets. So a round of applause for Sam, please.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. So my name's Sam. I'm the Creative Expressions Coordinator at Bethany Christian Trust. One of my tasks is I facilitate the Bugle Creative Writing Group on Wednesdays afternoons. We're a very diverse group of people, kind of like can come together, write poetry, create art. And we put out a magazine a couple of times a year. You've got an edition on your table. That's our latest one. But I thought we'd come along tonight and share some of the poems that we've been putting together, just because it's become a bit of a tradition, really, at this night. So 3 of the poets are up here with me tonight. 2 are down here, and they've nominated me to read their pieces for them. So I'm going to start off by reading the first piece by Michael, and it's a poem called Recall. After a weary wait, the dawn threw open a window, and flickering in its own place, a postcard memory of something unsaddened. Maybe an offering, maybe of something to come, but he knew it had always been around, more than a memory. Belief, transformed in an instant into something everlasting, just occasionally misplaced, like an old book or a photo in between the pages. The mist had settled, illuminating the space between the sky and the ground. And he felt loved. Thank you, Michael. So next I'm going to ask Rosalind to come up, and she's going to introduce her piece to you.
It was a bit of a struggle. I didn't know which one to read tonight because I've got like nearly 3,000 poems. Accumulated over like maybe 11 years. But There was two that I wanted to read, but I think I'm only allowed to read one, I'm not sure.
We've only got 10 minutes here.
Right, okay, fair enough. I'll just read this one. This one relates to my life, how I've went through this year with my daughter in Canada. She went through cancer, breast cancer. And then after that, she, for the time being, she's okay, but I'm just trusting God that it'll be the same outcome. And then I got another piece of news. Someone close to me has been diagnosed with mild dementia. And I thought, oh no, it can't get any worse, but here we are. I'm going to read this poem. It's a beautiful rose broken into many pieces. The tender, loving bluebell shined in all its glory. With the lightly yellow fragrance, buttercup stood still in the midst of a storm. Minutes away, a beautiful rose died of love and affection. The red petals of the rose lay at the bottom of the burn, ready to float away, never to be seen in all its pride and glory again. It lay there battered, bruised and broken. Suddenly, a fierce wind blew the sweet, delicate rose petals far away down the stream, until they were not seen by the naked eye. Sadly, the bluebell had lost its sparkle, and the buttercup lay in the field alone. Without the bluebell and the red rose, time had swiftly passed, and the buttercup had withered away with pride. The field became a graveyard. Neither the bluebell nor the buttercup or the red roses were never ever seen again.
So the next poem is a poem by Alan, who's at the back there. And I wanted to pick this poem tonight because Alan is also a member of the men's group who meet on a Thursday. And it was inspired by the men's group's annual trip out to North Berwick. And as such, it is called Bald in North Berwick. Pebbles on the beach, sun-dried, like a crowd of bald-headed men filmed from high above. Never two the same. Shaped and shaded and formed into groups and held in place by liquid sand. The tide is far out, leaving a sullen calmness. And while the waves in the distance wash forwards, the sea retreats. Seabirds prefer to paddle, as the living belongs to the water. The emotional power of a medium moving, very moving. The offbeat ebb and flow, the disquiet of surge and retire is the heartbeat of the shore. The tide will return, moon rising, bringing turmoil and madness that causes the stillness of reason to wash over the heads of the bald-headed men of North Berwick. Thank you all. And next up, we've got one of our newest members of the Bugle, Tony, who's going to read us a piece inspired by link workers.
Evening, folks. Curled up in a black mind hole, ashamed of needing aid, seeing no clear future, a decision eventually made, crying out and reaching out, scared of being alone. I needed help and guidance. I called the surgery phone. The doctor let me tell my tale. Initially, he gave me pills, but soon I was returning, feeling they only masked my ills. Lincoln support workers, a mental health nurse, rallied to my case, helped me come out of my shell and reach a better place, suggesting groups that I could join and others to guide my steps. They introduced me to the help that's there and raised me from the depths. So while not the green and open space of which it might make you think, I probably wouldn't be walking there without Bethany's Leith links.
And last of all, I would like to welcome our very own Graham to the stage. He's going to come up and perform a piece for you. Do you want to introduce yourself, Graham?
Hi, I'm Graham. I'm one of the members of the writers group. I've been there since 2013. It's been a great time there, and the way I put it over is to say just a short word. It's like the Three Musketeers. Only thing is we don't use swords. We use positive attitude, helping each other, looking out for each other, just being sociable, just being friendly. It's like a family. Myself, I'm homeless, not street homeless, thank God, but I've been close to that. That's another story. But I am staying in one of the Cunningham houses, supported accommodation, and the staff there too are great. I've told them so. I've told the staff at Bethany. I don't think I ever want to leave, actually, you know. Anyway, I'd like to recite something I wrote, because we write stuff for the Bugle magazine, as clear. Someone mentioned to me, someone noticed my emotions not on track. I was talking with someone and they sensed things wrong with me. Aware of it, I spoke of it to them, and the person said that he sensed it but did not mean anything wrong by it. People can pick up on things like this, but they may not say so for whatever reason, maybe fear of prying. But there are people who comment as I did. Some of us like it when others do that, and we can talk of it to them. Again, I'm one of those people, but I can also sense things from others. If only the situation is right, do I say anything about it? Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you. Guys, that's a small selection of our poets and our poetry. You can find much more in the editions on there. There's a brand new edition coming out very soon. I'd have loved to have it ready by today, but there's always little bits to follow up and things like that, but it's coming out super soon. So the only thing for us to do now is just to round up. I'm going to invite our head of our board, Ruth Walker, to the stage, just to conclude with thanks and prayer. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but every time I come to a Bethany event, I learn something new that moves me beyond anything, the work that goes on. And I've just loved the poems. Thank you. They have been absolutely wonderful. And I was thinking as well, that phrase as well, we are hope holders. Martin, I'm going to keep that. It's such a great thing, isn't it? We, as Bethany Christian Trust, are hope holders, and that's such a wondrous thing and a privilege that God gives us. Earlier in this week, I was thinking as I was coming here, and the Lord brought this scripture to mind, and it's in Matthew chapter 9. Jesus travelled through all the towns and villages, teaching in the synagogues and announcing the good news about the kingdom, and he healed every kind of disease and illness. And when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were confused and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And he said to his disciples, "The harvest is great, but the workers are few. So pray to the Lord who's in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send workers into his fields." So we are like Jesus. We want to offer compassion to people who are confused and helpless. That's our job, is to offer compassion. And I want to thank each of you who's here tonight, who's come here tonight, because you partner in that compassion with us. You partner with the work of Bethany Christian Trust, and it could not continue without you. Thank you for your passion and your compassion and your support of the cause of ending homelessness one person at a time. That's one of the unique things that we do, is value each individual. And so thank you for working alongside us in so many ways, as volunteers, as givers, supporters, as prayers. Thank you for that. And we also want to thank our compassionate Saviour, who offers each of us unconditional love and also delights in the work that we do and delights that we work, that we are able to work alongside him. He delights in that. So let's pray as we come to the end of this evening. Thank you, all of you who've participated, and thank you also for the teams who've set things up. That has been a delight, and for the church who has hosted us. Thank you so much. But let's just pray. So, Father, thank you for 40 years of Bethany Christian Trust. Thank you for those who started it, for Alan and Anne Berry. Thank you for the countless staff and volunteers who've poured their lives into the work of ending homelessness. Thank you for those who are up front doing the work, but thank you for those too who work quietly behind the scenes, enabling the work. Thank you, Lord, for those who provide funding for individuals, organisations, and government. May they be blessed for their generous giving. In Isaiah, Lord, you say, free those who are wrongly imprisoned, lighten the burden of those who work for you, let the oppressed go free, and remove the chains that bind people. Share your food with the hungry, and give shelter to the homeless. Give clothes to those who need them. Lord, this is how we seek to serve you. This is how we seek to care for those you love, for the hungry and homeless, to offer the light of Jesus to others. Lord, we long for the day when our service will not be needed, but while our services are still needed, we commit ourselves to you, we commit ourselves to the work of Bethany Christian Trust, and we give you thanks for your faithfulness over these many years. Thank you, Lord, for trusting us with your work. Amen.
Thank you for waiting. That concludes our evening. So once again, I thank you so much for turning up, whether here in person or online. For everyone who has contributed this evening as well. We are all going to be, the team, around for a little while longer, lingering, so feel free to linger as well and come up and have a chat.
These canapes aren't going to eat themselves.
There's a few left over, so yes, that's also a bonus.
And while you're sticking around, I'd encourage you to check out the table over here in the corner. We have some About Bethany booklets, which you all know about Bethany by now, but maybe you want to tell a friend about us. There's more copies of the annual report, and we've got information as well about leaving a legacy in your will for Bethany. So lots of information over in that corner as well, and some Bethany pens, you know, to make the trip over there even more worthwhile. I think that's all from us. We don't have anything else to say. No. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Thanks very
much.